Hello everyone, I am Anna Marie Adto and we are going to talk about story and its elements. Now let's talk about our objectives first. So we have here define what is story, then we will read a story and identify the elements of the story being provided. Now talking about what is story. So a story or narrative is a connected series of events told through words, written or spoken, imagery like still and moving. We have also the body language, performance, music, or any other form of communication. So stories can be true like biographies or made up like fairy tales. They can be about anything. So a good story should make you think differently, feel something new, or see the world in a fresh way. It's like an adventure that changes you a bit. So as we all know, stories exist everywhere throughout the history, and whenever you talk about events happening one after another, well, that's a story. So stories are incredibly important because they are a big part of human culture and have been around for ages already. They are the foundation of creativity and show up in everything we do for fun, like movies and music, or to keep us informed, like news reports. Stories come in all shapes and sizes, from books and conversations to plays and songs.
Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a beautiful princess who was celebrating her birthday with a grand party thrown by her loving father, the king. The king said, "Happy birthday, dear princess! Happy birthday to you!" The kingdom was filled with joyous guests, trumpets blaring, and cheers echoing through the halls as they celebrated the princess' special day. The princess was grateful and thanked the kingdom. The princess said, Thank you, everybody. Oh, Daddy, you're a wonderful king to give me such a wonderful party." The king replied, "Looks like nearly everybody in the kingdom's here, princess." However, amidst the festivities, there was one notable absence. The princess said again, "Everybody but grouchy old Gertrude the witch. I'm glad you didn't invite her." The king replied, "She wouldn't be much fun, would she?" The princess expressed her relief that Gertrude hadn't been invited, knowing her reputation for being joyless and unable to tolerate laughter. The princess said, "Oh, Daddy, you know she never laughs, and she can't stand to hear anyone else laugh. And when you see her, you can't help but laugh." The princess laughed. The king also replied, "Funny black hat." Princess, "It's stringy hair." King, "Silly broomstick and dirty old Snickers." Both the princess and the king laughed. The king said, "If she could see herself, she'd laugh too." The king and princess shared a moment of light-hearted mockery of Gertrude's appearance, finding humor in her peculiarities. The party continued, and as the guests were chattering about how fun the party is, Gertrude the witch dramatically entered the scene. The princess said, "Daddy, look, here she comes." The king also replied, "You're right, it's grouchy old Gertrude the witch." Everyone keeps laughing. The witch stepped. "Stop that! Stop laughing at me! Stop it, I say! All right?" Gertrude the witch is angered by the laughter and merriment. The witch also said, "I'll fix you. You'll never laugh again. I'm going to put all of you to sleep right now. And you'll never wake up until I laugh. But I never laugh, and I never will." In a fit of anger, she cast a powerful spell, putting everyone in the kingdom to sleep, until she could find something to make her laugh. Centuries passed, and the kingdom remained in slumber until a brave prince arrived with the intention of awakening the sleeping beauty, the princess. The prince said, "Hello, are you there, witch?" The witch replied, Of course, I'm here. I've been here for 100 years watching these people sleep. The prince also replied, Well, I'm the prince. I've come to marry the beautiful princess, Sleeping Beauty. The witch said, She's asleep. The prince replied, I'm going to wake her up. The witch said, That's what they all said, all the princess for the last 100 years. But then they looked at me and laughed, and I put them to sleep. Despite Gertrude's warning and attempts to thwart him, with her grim demeanor, the prince remained undeterred. The witch said, Hey, why aren't you laughing? The prince replied, Look, I'm wearing dark glasses so I can see you. The witch said, You think you're pretty clever? But now, let me see you wake up, Sleeping Beauty. Make me laugh. The prince replied, I'll do that. I'll tickle you with this feather. The prince tickled the witch with feather he bought, but the prince is unable to make her laugh. The witch said, That doesn't make me laugh. The prince replied, Well, I'll try my noisemaker. With the noisemaker, the prince made a loud and amusing sound in hope of make the witch laugh in his second try. The witch said, That's not a bit funny. You'll never wake up the princess. Despite failing a second time, the prince remained determined, confident that the final item he bought would ensure success in his quest. The prince, Well, I have one more thing. The witch, What is it? The prince said, It's a mirror. Here, look in it. As the prince presented the mirror to the witch, he held his breath, hoping that his peculiar item would finally crack her stoic demeanor. With a curious gaze, the witch peered into the mirror, her eyes widening as she beheld her reflection. Funny black hat, stringy hair, silly broomstick, and dirty old sneakers, the witch exclaimed, bursting into laughter as she saw her comical image staring back at her. In a clever and unexpected twist, the prince employed humor and wit to coax laughter from Gertrude, using a mirror to show her a reflection of herself. The witch said, Wake up, everybody! Wake up, and let's have a party! Seeing herself through the lens of humor, Gertrude couldn't help but laugh, breaking the spell and awakening the kingdom from its long sleep. The princess said, Oh, my handsome prince, I knew you'd come. The prince replied, Princess, you're more beautiful than I ever dreamed. The king also said, Looks like we're going to have a wedding party. And this time, Gertrude, witch, you're invited. With the spell broken, the prince and the princess embraced, and the kingdom erupted into celebration once more. Even Gertrude, who had once been the source of their troubles, was welcome to join in the festivities, having learned to laugh at herself. The guest said, Happy wedding day, dear princess. Happy wedding day to you. In the end, it was laughter and acceptance that triumphed over darkness, bringing joy and unity back to the kingdom. And as the wedding bells rang out, the tale of Sleeping Beauty and the prince who taught a witch to laugh became legend, a story of love, laughter, and happily ever after.
Now let's talk about the characters. So we all know the characters is the people or creatures who drive the story forward. So we follow their actions, their thoughts, and feelings as they navigate the plot. So in this story, we have the characters. We have the princess, which is a beautiful young woman who is celebrating her birthday. We have also the king, the princess, loving father who throws a grand party for her. And we have also the witch, who's the Gertrude, a grumpy and joyless witch who dislikes laughter. And we have also the prince, a brave and determined prince who arrives to awaken the sleeping princess. Next is we have the settings. So in a kingdom far away, this is a vague fairy tale setting with a castle and a kingdom ruled by a king and princess. Now, on the next slide, we have also the point of view. So the story is told from a third person, omniscient narrative point of view. This means the narrator is outside the story and has access to the thoughts and feelings of all the characters. Like for instance, we know the princess is relieved to Gertrude because she knows she is not there, and we also understand the witch's anger at being mocked, right? Now let's talk about the conflict. So if an author wants to keep readers interested in the story, it's essential to introduce an element of conflict. So this conflict is what continues to progress the story, building suspense and tension until the climax of the story where the conflict is resolved. So the conflict of the story is centered around a grumpy witch who is the Gertrude and her intolerance for laughter. Now, in the next slide, we have the theme. So the theme of a story tells us what is the story is actually about. It's often the reason why the author wrote the story in the first place. Like, they want to make us understand a particular concept or moral idea. But here in the story, here are some possible themes of the story, like the power of laughter. So laughter can be a powerful tool to break down barriers, disarm negativity, and bring people together. So the princess' success hinges on his ability to make Gertrude laugh, highlighting the power of humor and joy. Like, we have also the looks can be deceiving. So the story challenges judging someone solely on their appearance. Gertrude, who seems grumpy and mean, is ultimately revealed to be capable of laughter and happiness. And we have also acceptance and self-reflection. So Gertrude's transformation comes from seeing herself reflected back at her. So the story suggests the importance of self-acceptance and the ability to laugh at oneself. And we have also the love conquers all. So the prince's determination to save the princess emphasizes the power of love to overcome obstacles. Now, on the next slide, we have the plot. So the plot of a story is a series of interconnected events in which every occurrence has a specific purpose. We have the 5 parts of the plot, which are the first one is the exposition. So the story opens with a princess' birthday celebration in a faraway kingdom. And the next one, we have the rising action. We can see on the story that Gertrude the witch is noticeably absent from the joyous party. We have also the princess expresses relief at not having her invited due to the Gertrude's dislike of laughter. And we have also the king and the princess share a mocking laugh about Gertrude's appearance. And the next is we have infuriated by the laughter directed at her. Then Gertrude crashes the party and casts a sleeping spell on everyone, vowing they'll never laugh again until she does. Then moving on, we have the climax, so which is centuries later, the prince arrives to awaken the sleeping princess. And as for the falling action, the witch warns the prince that others have failed because they laughed at her, putting them to sleep. And also the prince, unfazed by her attempts to scare him, uses a mirror to show her reflection. And as for the resolution, seeing her own comical appearance, Gertrude finally laughs, breaking the spell and awakening the kingdom. So the story ends with a celebration and the prince and princess preparing for their wedding. So the witch's curse and the need to make her laugh became the central obstacle that the prince must overcome to awaken the princess and the kingdom. Now moving on to the tone of the story. We have this light-hearted and humorous when reading. So the story uses humor throughout, from the playful mocking of Gertrude's appearance to the prince attempts to make her laugh. So we have also the optimistic and hopeful. So despite the initial conflict with the sleeping curse, the story maintains a positive and hopeful tone, suggesting that joy and love will ultimately prevail. And we have also the whimsical and fairy tale-like. So the story elements like a grumpy witch, a sleeping princess, and a brave prince contribute to a classic fairy tale feel. Now, as for the style of the story. So we all know that style refers to the way the author chooses to tell the story. So as for the style, we have the simple and easy to read. So the story uses clear and concise language, making it accessible to readers of all ages. And also for the dialogue driven, the story relies heavily on dialogue to move the plot forward and reveal the characters' personalities. And we have also the descriptive in key moments, like while the narration is generally straightforward, the story uses descriptive language when it matters most. So like depicting the grand party or Gertrude's surprised laughter when seeing her reflection. So overall, the story's lighthearted tone and simple style make it a charming and engaging read, perfect for conveying the themes of laughter and acceptance and the triumph of good over evil. Well, this story is well suited for kids for some reasons, like the light-hearted and positive tone, which emphasize joy, humor, and overcoming challenges with a positive attitude. It has also simple plot and clear resolution. The story follows a classic fairy tale structure with a straightforward conflict and a happy ending, making it easy for kids to follow. We have also the engaging characters. The characters like the brave prince and the grumpy witch are distinct and memorable for young readers. We have also the positive messages. So the story promotes themes of kindness, acceptance, and the importance of laughter, all valuable lessons for children. So here are some things to consider depending on the age of the child, like the witch character. So while Gertrude is ultimately a positive character, the idea of a witch casting a curse might frighten very young children. So as also for the reading level, the reading level may be appropriate for older children who can read independently, while younger children might enjoy it as a read aloud story. So overall, with its positive themes and engaging narrative, this story has the potential to be a delightful read for children. So that would be all for our discussion. Thank you everyone for listening, and these are the group members of this group. So here are the group members. And that would be all, everyone. Thank you for listening, and God bless us all.